Close your eyes, and let me take you somewhere beyond the edge of maps. A place where mountains rise from the sea, where light dances across winter skies, where silence feels like a presence all its own. There will be no sudden sounds, no interruptions, just a gentle journey through the fjords and valleys of Norway. You're safe here. You can drift away whenever sleep finds you. The Western Fjords. Norway is a land carved by ice. For millions of years, glaciers moved across this northern edge of Europe, grinding valleys deeper and deeper into ancient rock. When the ice finally retreated, the sea rushed in to fill what remained. What was left behind are the fjords, long fingers of ocean reaching between mountain walls. Some narrow enough to touch both sides if you stretched your arms, others so wide they feel like inland seas. We begin our journey in the west, where the fjords are deepest and the mountains steepest. The air here tastes of salt and stone. Clouds hang low over the water, moving slowly like thoughts that need no hurry. Geirangerfjord lies ahead, one of the most beautiful wounds the glaciers ever made. The water here is impossibly blue, sometimes green, depending on how the light falls through the clouds. Cliffs rise vertically from the fjord, 1,000 meters straight up. Their faces are streaked with waterfalls, thin white lines that fall and fall and fall, dissolving into mist long before they reach the water below. The Seven Sisters. That's what they call them. 7 waterfalls cascading side by side down the mountainside. In spring, when snow melts high above, they roar with voice and fury. But now, in this quiet moment, they whisper, soft, eternal, patient. Across the fjord, another waterfall answers. The Suter, locals call it. Legend says he courts the sisters from across the water, his voice never quite reaching them, his devotion never quite enough. It's just geology, of course. Water following gravity down ancient rock. But here, in this place of mist and mountain, stories feel more true than facts. A small ferry moves through the fjord. Its engine hums low and steady. The sound echoes off the cliffs, wrapping around itself, becoming something between music and memory. On deck, passengers stand in silence. No one speaks. There's nothing to say. The fjord speaks for them. The mountains speak. The waterfalls. The clouds. The ferry passes a tiny farm clinging to a shelf of land halfway up the cliff. Green grass. A red barn. Sheep grazing as if there's nothing unusual about living suspended between sky and sea. For centuries, people lived in places like this, accessible only by boat, cut off when storms came, self-sufficient because they had no choice. The ferry continues. The fjord narrows. The mountains close in. And then, just when it seems there's nowhere left to go, the fjord opens again into something wider, calmer. A place where the water mirrors the sky so perfectly you can't tell where one ends and the other begins. We leave the ferry behind now, following a road that climbs the mountainside in hairpin turns. Each switchback reveals a new perspective on the fjord below. Each turn takes us higher into clouds that drift like smoke through pine trees. The road reaches a viewpoint, Dalsnibba, 1,500 meters above the fjord. From here, Geirangerfjord looks like a painting. Too perfect, too still. As if the world paused here to admire its own reflection. Snow lies in patches around us even though it's summer. The air is thin and cold. Your breath makes clouds that vanish almost as soon as they form. Everything feels impermanent here. Everything except the mountains themselves. We descend now, following another road toward another fjord. Geirangerfjord, the longest and deepest in all of Norway. More than 200 kilometers of water reaching from the coast deep into the heart of the country. Where Geirangerfjord felt intimate, Geirangerfjord feels vast. The mountains here are gentler, rounder, worn smooth by time and weather. Villages cluster along the shore, their wooden houses painted red and yellow and white. We pass through Flam, a village at the end of a narrow branch of the fjord. Here, a railway climbs the mountain. The Flam Railway, one of the steepest in the world. 20 kilometers of track rising through a valley so narrow the train seems to climb between walls. The train moves slowly, almost meditatively. Outside the windows, waterfalls appear and disappear. The Kosfossen waterfall thunders beside the tracks, powerful enough that you feel it in your chest even through the glass. The valley narrows. The forest thickens. Birch and pine crowd close to the tracks. And then, gradually, the trees thin. We're above the tree line now, emerging into alpine meadows where only grass and stone exist. At the top, at Myrdal station, the world opens again. A high plateau stretches in every direction. Lakes reflect the sky. Wind moves through grass in waves. There are no trees here. Just space. Just silence. Just the slow breathing of the earth. We rest here for a while, letting the altitude settle into our lungs, letting the quiet settle into our thoughts. There's no need to move, no need to go anywhere. Just being here is enough. When we finally descend, we follow the fjord north. The water grows wider. The mountains step back, giving space to farmland. Orchards appear along the shore. Apple trees and cherry trees, their branches heavy with fruit ripening under the long northern sun. This is Norway's orchard, locals say. Protected by the mountains. Warmed by the Gulf Stream. A place where fruit grows at latitudes that should be too cold, too dark, too harsh. But the fjords create their own climate, their own rules. Water holds warmth longer than land. Mountains block the worst winds. And the sun, during summer, barely sets at all. We stop in Balestrand, a village that feels suspended in time. Wooden hotels from the 1800s line the waterfront, their white facades glowing in the afternoon light. Tourists once came here by steamship. Artists came to paint the light. Writers came to find silence. The light here is different. Softer than in the south. More diffuse. It doesn't glare or burn. It simply exists, gentle and patient, illuminating without demanding attention. We sit by the water, watching small boats drift past, watching clouds move overhead. There's a bench here, weathered grey by years of rain and sun. Its wood is smooth under our hands, warm from the day's light. Time moves differently here. Minutes stretch, hours compress. The day feels endless, and yet you couldn't say what hour it is. Morning? Afternoon? Evening? The sun hangs in the sky, refusing to commit. This is summer in Norway. Light that never fully leaves. A twilight that lasts until dawn. It unsettles some visitors. But for others, it's a gift. Permission to stay awake. Or permission to sleep. Or permission to exist somewhere in between. A ferry horn sounds in the distance. Low, mournful, beautiful. It echoes off the mountains and comes back to us changed, as if the fjord itself is answering. We close our eyes, just for a moment, just to rest. The warmth of the sun on our face, the sound of water against the shore, the smell of pine and salt and summer. Everything perfect, everything still. The Northern Lights. Winter comes early in the north. By October, snow has already claimed the mountains. By November, the fjords grow quiet as tourists retreat south, chasing the sun. But winter brings its own gift. One that no summer can match. When the nights grow long enough. When the skies grow dark enough. The aurora returns. We travel north now, beyond the Arctic Circle, to Tromsø, a city built on islands in the far north. They call it the Paris of the North, though it feels nothing like Paris. No grand boulevards. No monuments. Just wooden houses clustered against the cold, and mountains rising white against the Arctic night. Tromsø sits at 69 degrees north. In December, the sun doesn't rise at all. For 2 months, the city exists in a twilight that never becomes day. Blue darkness. Not black. A perpetual dusk that teaches you new ways to see. The cold here is different than you might expect. Dry. Sharp. Clean. It doesn't seep into your bones the way wet cold does. It simply exists, a constant presence, demanding respect but not cruelty. We're here for the lights. The aurora borealis. The northern lights. Spirits dancing, the Sami people said. Messages from the gods. Warnings. Blessings. Bridges between worlds. Science explains them differently. Solar wind. Magnetosphere. Charged particles exciting oxygen and nitrogen atoms in the upper atmosphere. The explanation is beautiful in its own way. But it doesn't capture what it feels like to stand beneath them. We leave the city behind. Driving north along the coast. The road is empty. Snowbanks line both sides, glowing blue in the headlights. Occasionally, a house appears, its windows warm with light. Then darkness again. We stop at a beach. Snow covers the sand. The Arctic Ocean breathes against the shore, waves moving in slow rhythm. Above us, stars. More stars than you've ever seen. The Milky Way, a river of light stretching across the dome of sky. We wait. That's what you do for the aurora. You wait. You watch. You hope. They might come. They might not. There's no predicting. No controlling. You surrender to chance. An hour passes. Maybe more. Maybe less. Time feels negotiable in the dark. And then, something. A green glow on the northern horizon. Faint. So faint you think it might be imagination. But it grows. Slowly. A curtain of light rising from the horizon. Green. Pale at first, then brighter. It shimmers like fabric in wind. Moving. Dancing. Alive. More curtains appear. Stretching across the sky. Folding and unfolding. They ripple. They pulse. Sometimes they hang still for long moments. Then suddenly they erupt into motion, racing across the sky faster than seems possible. The green deepens. Edges turn violet, pink. Red appears at the highest reaches. The colors blend and separate, a cosmic painting that repaints itself every second. We stand motionless, necks craned, breathmaking clouds that vanish into the night. Cold forgotten. Everything forgotten. There's only this, only now, only the lights. The aurora speaks no language, makes no sound, and yet it communicates something. Something older than words. Something that resonates in parts of us we didn't know existed. They said it's the spirits of the dead, dancing. They said it's a bridge to other worlds. They said you must respect them. Not whistle at them. Not wave. Just watch. Just witness. We watch. Silent. Reverent. Not from superstition but from awe. Pure awe. The kind that makes you feel both infinitely small and infinitely connected to everything. The aurora builds to a crescendo. The entire sky alive with light. Curtains overhead. Ribbons stretching from horizon to horizon. It's as if the earth itself is breathing light. Exhaling beauty into the void. And then, gradually, the lights fade. The curtains thin. The colors pale. Within minutes, it's over. The stars reclaim the sky. The darkness returns. As if nothing happened. As if we imagined it all. But we didn't imagine it. We feel it still. In our chests. In our throats. In the tingling of our skin. The aurora doesn't just happen in the sky. It happens inside you. Changes you. Reminds you of something you'd forgotten. We return to Tromsø. The city sleeps under its blue darkness. Streetlights glow orange. Houses huddle close. It feels good to return. To come back from the wild into warmth. Into shelter. Into the company of human lights when the cosmic lights have gone. The Lofoten Islands. West and south from Tromsø, beyond more fjords and mountains, the Lofoten Islands rise from the Norwegian Sea like a dragon's spine. Jagged peaks. Sharp as teeth. Some say they look like a wall, protecting the mainland from the Atlantic's fury. Others say they look like a shattered cathedral, beautiful in its ruin. We arrive by ferry. The crossing takes hours. The sea is grey and restless. Waves roll under the hull. The ferry rises and falls, a rhythm that pulls you toward sleep even as you watch the horizon. And then, the islands appear. Mountains rising straight from the sea. No foothills. No gentle approach. Just sudden, dramatic verticality. It's as if the earth couldn't be bothered with subtlety here. Just thrust the mountains up and let them stand. The ferry docks in Svolvær, the largest town in Lofoten. But we don't stay. We follow the E10, the road that connects the islands, weaving between mountains and sea, through tunnels and over bridges, linking this scattered archipelago into one long thread. Fishing villages appear around every bend. Ren. Hamnøy. Njusfjord. Red and yellow wooden houses called Råbjord cluster at the water's edge. Built on stilts. Reflecting in the still water of sheltered bays. These villages have existed for centuries. Cod fishing brought them to life. Every winter, millions of cod migrate here to spawn. Every winter, fishermen followed. A seasonal pulse that shaped everything. The economy. The culture. The architecture. The way of life. Even now, in an age of industrial fishing, You can see the tradition. Wooden racks line the shore. Triangular structures where fish are hung to dry in the cold Arctic air. Thousands of cod, headless and split, dangling like strange flags. The smell is powerful. Not unpleasant, exactly. But unmistakable. The smell of work. Of survival. Of a relationship between humans and the sea that goes back further than memory. We stop in Ren. Many call it the most beautiful village in Norway. Maybe in all of Europe. It's hard to argue. The village sits on a small island, connected to others by bridges. Mountains surround it on all sides. The water in the harbor is so clear you can see the bottom, even though it's meters deep. We find a place to stay. One of the old Råbua, converted now for travelers. Inside, it's simple. Wooden walls. Small windows. A bed. A chair. Everything you need and nothing you don't. We sit by the window. Outside, the light is changing. It's late afternoon, or early evening. Hard to say. The sun hangs low, turning the mountains gold and pink. The water glows. This is the magic hour. That time between day and night when colors deepen. When edges soften. When everything becomes more itself, more vivid, more real. A boat returns to harbor. Its engine purrs low. Seabirds follow it, hoping for scraps. Their cries echo off the mountains. Sharp. Insistent. Alive. The sun touches the horizon. But it doesn't set quickly here. Not in summer. It lingers. It slides along the edge of the world, painting and repainting the sky. Orange. Pink. Purple. Gold. We watch until our eyes grow heavy. Until watching becomes dreaming. Until we're no longer sure if we're seeing the light or remembering it. Morning comes gently. We wake without alarm. Light filters through the window, soft and indirect. Outside, the village is waking too. Slowly. Quietly. In no particular hurry. We walk to the water's edge. The harbor is glass calm. Mountains reflect perfectly. It's as if the world doubled itself overnight. Every peak, every cloud, every fishing boat exists twice. Once in air, once in water. A kayaker paddles past. Their paddle dips and rises, barely disturbing the surface. Barely making a sound. They glide through their own reflection, splitting it briefly, then letting it mend. We could stay here forever. That's how it feels. As if time might agree to pause. As if this moment might consent to lasting. But of course it won't. And that's okay. That's part of the gift. The impermanence. The knowing that this is temporary. That this will end. That endings make beauty possible. We continue down the E10. The road curves through more villages. More mountains. More stretches of water so blue they look photoshopped. But they're real. Just real. At Utterclive, we find a beach. White sand. Arctic water. Mountains framing the scene like a theater set. Waves roll in, gentle and rhythmic. They've been rolling in like this for thousands of years. They'll keep rolling in for thousands more. We sit on the sand. It's cold, but we don't mind. The wind carries salt and seaweed. The sun warms one side of our face. Everything feels balanced. Held in equilibrium. Not perfect, but complete. The midnight sun. There's something strange about summer in the far north. Something that unsettles the body's ancient rhythms. The sun refuses to set. We're in the season of endless light now. The midnight sun. From late May until mid-July, the sun circles the horizon but never drops below it. Day becomes a single, unbroken moment stretching for weeks. It's disorienting at first. Your body expects darkness, expects the signal to sleep. But darkness never comes. At midnight, the sun still glows. At 2 in the morning, it's bright enough to read. At 4, it's climbing again toward noon. We're driving now, north along the coast, past the Lofoten Islands toward the very top of Norway, toward Nordkapp, the North Cape, one of the northernmost points of mainland Europe. The road is empty, has been for hours. Occasionally we pass a reindeer standing by the roadside. They watch us with dark, patient eyes, then return to grazing on the tundra grasses that carpet this treeless land. We're above the tree line now. Have been for kilometers. No pines, no birch, just low shrubs and moss and lichen. The vegetation of places where winter dominates, where survival means staying low, staying hidden, waiting. The sky is vast here, unobstructed by mountains or trees. It curves down to meet the earth on all sides. You can see weather coming from 100 kilometers away. Dark clouds trailing rain, shafts of light breaking through. The world's mood written in air and vapor. We arrive at Nordkapp in what should be evening. But the sun hangs in the sky, painting everything gold. A cliff drops away before us, 300 meters straight down to the Arctic Ocean. The waves below look small from this height. But they're not. They're massive. They crash against the cliff with force you can feel through the stone. The North Atlantic, cold and powerful, meeting the edge of Europe. People stand along the cliff edge, scattered, silent, watching the sun. It's almost midnight. The sun hovers just above the horizon. Not setting, not rising, just existing in that strange space between. A family takes photos. A couple holds hands. An old man sits alone on a rock, his face turned toward the light. Everyone is here for the same reason. To witness something that seems impossible. To see the sun at midnight. We find a place to sit. The rock is cold beneath us despite the sun. Cold rises from the earth here. Permafrost lies just below the surface. Frozen ground that never thaws. A memory of the ice age still locked in the soil. The sun touches the horizon. For a moment, it seems like it might finally set. Like it might give us the darkness we're programmed to expect. But no. It slides along the horizon, moving sideways, east toward tomorrow, refusing to fall. And we watch, mesmerized. Something about this feels sacred. Not in a religious sense, but in the sense of witnessing something fundamental. Something that reveals how the world actually works. The tilt of the Earth. The curve of its orbit. The mechanics of light and season and time. An hour passes. Maybe more. The sun continues its strange journey. Never climbing. Never falling. Just circling. A prisoner of geometry. A victim of latitude. We're tired now. Not from darkness, but from the absence of it. The body doesn't know what to do with endless light. Sleep becomes negotiable. Optional. something you have to choose rather than something that simply happens. We return to our lodging, a small cabin overlooking the sea. Inside, we pull heavy curtains across the windows, creating artificial night. But even through the thick fabric, light seeps in. Glowing. Persistent. Refusing to be shut out. Sleep comes eventually. Strange sleep. Light sleep. Full of dreams that feel more like memories. Of sun and stone. Of ocean and sky. Of light that never ends and darkness that never comes. When we wake, it could be morning. Could be evening. The light looks the same. The sun hangs in the same strange angle. Time has become meaningless. Or rather, time has become pure light. Nothing else. We drive south now. Following the coast back toward civilization. Back toward places where night still exists. Where darkness still falls. Where the world makes sense again. But something has changed. The midnight sun does that. It shifts something in your perception. Makes you realize that the rhythms you take for granted, day and night, light and dark, they're not universal. They're local. Specific to your latitude, your season, your place on this spinning rock. We passed through Hammerfest, one of the northernmost towns in the world. People live here year-round, enduring the dark winter, celebrating the bright summer. Their lives split between extremes, between too much light and too much darkness, between midnight sun and polar night. How do they do it? How do they maintain sanity when the sun doesn't set for months? When darkness doesn't fall for months? The answer, it seems, is adaptation. The human capacity to adjust, to find rhythm in arrhythmia, to create structure when nature offers none. We stop for coffee at a small cafe. Inside, thick curtains block the windows. People sit in artificial twilight, drinking, talking, pretending it's evening even though the sun blazes outside. Creating their own night because their bodies demand it. The barista is young. Maybe 20. She smiles when we order. Asks where we're from. When we tell her, she nods. The midnight sun is beautiful, she says. But exhausting. You get used to it. Sort of. But every summer, I still feel a little crazy. We drink our coffee slowly. Around us, conversation murmurs in Norwegian. Incomprehensible to us, but the rhythm is universal. The rhythm of people finding connection, finding normalcy, finding ways to be human in inhuman conditions. Back on the road, the landscape shifts again. Mountains appear. Forest returns. We're descending in latitude. Moving back toward the world we know. Where sun sets and darkness falls and time behaves. But the memory of the midnight sun stays with us. The feeling of standing at the edge of the world, watching the sun refuse to set. The disorientation. The wonder. The strangeness of it all. Norway teaches you this. That the world is stranger than you think. More varied. More extreme. That your experience of reality is just one version. One latitude. One season. One small slice of how things can be. We drive through the afternoon. Or morning. Or evening. It doesn't matter. The sun shines. The road unrolls. Mountains pass on either side. And slowly, gradually, we return to the ordinary world. The world of normal days and regular nights. The world we left behind. The quiet valleys. Not all of Norway shouts. Some of it whispers. Away from the famous fjords and dramatic peaks, there are valleys that hold their secrets quietly. Places where time moves slower. Where life continues in old patterns. Where modernity hasn't completely erased what came before. We're in the interior now. East of the mountains. In the high valleys where snow stays late and leaves early. Where summer is brief and precious. Where people have learned to make much from little. The valley of Gudbrandsdalen stretches before us. Long. Green. A river running through its center like a silver thread. On both sides, farmland climbs the slopes. Red barns dot the hillsides. Cattle graze in meadows that have been grazed for 1,000 years. This is traditional Norway. Not the Norway of tourists and fjord cruises, but the Norway of farmers and seasons, of hay harvests and livestock, of work and patience and connection to land. We stop at a farm. Stave Church rises nearby, dark wood-weathered almost black. It's been standing since the 1200s. 800 years of winters. 800 years of prayers and christenings and funerals. 800 years of being the center of this small community. Inside, the church is dim. Small windows let in only narrow shafts of light. The air smells of old wood and old faith. Pews worn smooth by centuries of sitting. An altar simple and unadorned. Everything here is functional. Built to last. Built to serve. We sit in the back pew. The silence is profound. Not empty, but full. Full of all the silence that's accumulated here over centuries. All the quiet prayers. The whispered confessions. The moments of grief and gratitude. Churches like this exist throughout Norway. Stave churches. Built entirely of wood. No nails. Just beams slotted together. Roofs layered with wooden shingles. They look like something from a fairy tale. Dark. Mysterious. Almost pagan despite their Christian purpose. We leave the church and walk through the farm. The farmer is elderly. His face weathered like the church wood. He speaks little English, but gestures are enough. He shows us his barn. His cattle. His pride. This farm has been in his family for generations. 7? 8? He's not sure. Long enough that no one remembers when it started. Long enough that the land itself seems to belong to the family name. He walks us to a field. Points to a stone fence. Very old, he says in careful English. Maybe Viking times. Maybe older. No one knows. The stones are covered in lichen. Moss fills the gaps. The fence has stood longer than the farm. Longer than the church. It's simply here. Part of the landscape. Part of time itself. We continue through the valley. The road follows the river. Sometimes close enough to hear it rushing over stones. Sometimes distant, visible only as a gleam through trees. Small villages appear and disappear. Houses cluster together. A store. A church. A school. Everything you need and nothing more. People live here their whole lives. Born in these valleys. Growing old in these valleys. Buried in these valleys. The cycle unbroken for generations. It's easy to romanticize. Easy to imagine this life as simple and pure. But it's not easy. Winters are brutal. Summers are short. The work never ends. Farming at this latitude is an act of stubborn faith. Faith that spring will come. That crops will grow. That you can survive one more winter. But there's something here that cities lack. Connection. To land. To season. To the immediate circle of people who share your valley. You're not anonymous here. You're known. For better or worse. Known. We stop for lunch at a small cafe. The owner recognizes us as strangers immediately. Not unfriendly. Just observant. Tourists. She asks. We nod. She smiles. Welcome. Not many come here. They want the fjords. The mountains. But this is Norway too. She serves us traditional food. Lamb and potatoes. Simple. Perfectly prepared. The lamb tastes of the hills. The potatoes of the earth. Everything tastes like place. Like it couldn't have come from anywhere else. Through the window, we watch the valley. A tractor moves through a field, turning hay. Birds wheel overhead. Clouds drift slow and purposeful toward the east. Everything moves at its own pace. Nothing rushed. Nothing urgent. After lunch, we drive higher. Up a side valley. The road narrows. Becomes gravel. Then dirt. Then barely a track at all. We're climbing toward the high country. The Vidda. The plateau where trees can't grow and reindeer roam free. The valley opens into a vast, flat expanse. The Vidda stretches to the horizon in every direction. Grass and moss and stone. Small lakes reflecting the sky. No trees. No shelter. Just openness. Just space. This is what most of Norway's interior looks like. Not fjords and peaks. But plateau. High, flat, treeless land. Beautiful in its severity. Beautiful in its refusal to accommodate human comfort. We park and walk. The ground is soft. Spongy. Each step sinks slightly. Moss and lichen cushion our feet. Water seeps between the plants. Everything here is wet. Saturated. The plateau is more marsh than land. In the distance, movement. A herd of reindeer. Maybe 20. They graze slowly across the plateau. Heads down. Unbothered by our presence. We're too far to matter. Too irrelevant to their concerns. The Sami people have herded reindeer here for thousands of years. Following them across the Vidda. Living in tents. Moving with the seasons. It's still done. Not by many. But some families maintain the tradition. Keep the knowledge alive. Keep the connection unbroken. We sit on a rock. The wind is constant here. Not strong. But present. Always present. It carries the smell of wet grass and distance. It carries no sound of human activity. No cars. No planes. No voices. Just wind and silence and the occasional cry of a bird. Time feels different on the Vidda. Slower. Or maybe faster. It's hard to say. Without trees or buildings to mark scale, distances become deceptive. That mountain looks close. But it's 30 kilometers away. That lake looks small. But you could fit a town inside it. We stay until the cold drives us back to the car. The plateau has a way of reminding you that you're temporary. That this place existed long before you and will exist long after. That your presence here is barely a breath. Barely a moment. Barely anything at all. Descending back into the valley feels like returning to civilization. Trees appear. Then houses. Then the comfort of human scale. The plateau was too vast. Too empty. Too honest about our insignificance. Night is finally falling. Real night. Dark night. We're far enough south now that the sun actually sets. The relief is unexpected. The darkness feels like an old friend returning. Like the world making sense again. We find a small inn. Old. Traditional. Wooden beams and stone fireplace. A fire burns low. We sit near it, feeling the heat on our faces. Outside, darkness deepens. Inside, the fire crackles and pops. We're warm. We're safe. We're exactly where we need to be. The Atlantic Road and coastal islands. The western coast of Norway is where the land surrenders to the sea. Not peacefully, but in a series of dramatic gestures. Islands scattered like broken pieces. Bridges leaping between them. Roads that dare the ocean to wash them away. We're heading toward one of the most dramatic roads ever built. The Atlantic Road. Atlanterhavsveien. 8 kilometers of asphalt and bridges connecting islands along the northwestern coast. It's been called the world's most beautiful drive. Maybe the world's most dangerous. Depending on the weather. Today, the sea is calm. Relatively. Waves roll in steady rhythm. The sky is grey but not threatening. Good conditions for the road. On stormy days, waves crash over the bridges. Water floods the pavement. The road becomes more sea than land. But today, we're lucky. We start in Karvåg, a small fishing village at the southern end of the road. Houses painted white and red cluster around a tiny harbor. Fishing boats bob at their moorings. Nets hang to dry. Everything here speaks of the sea. Of lives lived in negotiation with salt and storm. The road begins modestly. Flat. Ordinary. Just another coastal highway. But then, the first bridge appears. Storseisundet Bridge. The most famous of them all. It rises from the water in a dramatic curve, arching up and up until it seems to lead nowhere but sky. It's an optical illusion. From certain angles, the bridge looks broken. Like it ends in midair. Like you'll drive straight off the edge into nothing. But as you approach, the road reveals itself. Curving down to meet the next island. Always there. Always solid. But always surprising. We drive slowly. Not from fear. But from the need to see. To experience. The ocean spreads on both sides. Grey-green water stretching to the horizon. Small islands dot the seascape. Rocky outcrops where seabirds nest. Where seals sun themselves on warm afternoons. The wind is constant here. It pushes against the car. Whistles through gaps. This is exposed land. Nothing to block the Atlantic winds. They've been blowing across this coast for millions of years. Shaping the rocks. Polishing the stones. Carving everything into smooth, organic forms. Another bridge. Smaller. Lower. The road skims just above the water. Waves lap at the edges. On stormy days, the sea claims this section entirely. But now, it's just close. Just present. A reminder that the ocean allows this road to exist. Tolerates it. But could reclaim it at any moment. We pass through more islands. Each one small. Each one home to a handful of houses. People live here year-round. Fishing. Farming what little soil exists. Living lives connected to tide and season and weather in ways that city dwellers can barely imagine. On one island, an old man tends his nets. His hands move with practiced efficiency. Checking knots. Mending tiers. He's done this 10,000 times. We'll do it 10,000 more. The repetition isn't boring. its meditative, its connection, its purpose. We wave. He nods, returns to his work. Words aren't needed. The gesture is enough. Recognition, respect, the acknowledgement that we're all just passing through, some faster than others. The road curves again. Another bridge. This one longer, higher. It arches over a channel where currents run strong. Water rushes beneath us. White foam where waves meet rocks. The sound is constant. A low roar. The ocean's voice never stops here. Never rests. At the northern end of the Atlantic Road, we stop at a viewpoint. A parking area carved into the rock. We step out into the wind. It immediately grabs our hair, our clothes, pushes against us with steady force. Not violent. Just present. Always present. From here, the entire road is visible. 8 bridges connecting islands. A ribbon of grey asphalt and white concrete threading through blue-green sea. It looks impossible. Like something that shouldn't exist. Like human audacity made physical. It took 6 years to build. Started in 1983. Finished in 1989. 12 hurricanes hit during construction. Workers were swept off the road by waves. Equipment was destroyed. The project was nearly abandoned. But they persisted. And now it stands. Fragile. Beautiful. Defiant. We continue north. Leaving the Atlantic Road behind. Following the coast through more fishing villages. Through tunnels blasted through mountains. Over bridges that connect islands we can't even name. This is Norway's coast. Fractured. Complex. Beautiful in its chaos. The sea has been working here since the ice retreated. Carving. Shaping. Creating this maze of water and land that defies simple description. We stop in Kristiansund, a town built on 4 islands. Once a major fishing port. Now quieter. But still connected to the sea. Still defined by it. The harbour is full of boats. Working boats. Not yachts or pleasure craft. These are tools. Built for function. For survival. We walk along the waterfront. Old warehouses line the shore. Converted now to cafes and shops. But the bones remain. The heavy timbers. The wide doors where fish were once loaded. The smell of salt and tar that no amount of renovation can erase. At a small cafe, we stop for coffee. The owner is a woman in her 60s. She's lived here her whole life. The sea gives. The sea takes, she says when we ask about life on the coast. You accept both. Or you leave. Most of us accept. Her husband was a fisherman. Was. Past tense. Lost in a storm 20 years ago. She speaks of it matter-of-factly. Not cold. Just honest. This is the reality of coastal life. The sea provides. But demands payment. Always has. Always will. We drink our coffee in silence. Through the window, we watch the harbour. Boats coming and going. Seabirds wheeling overhead. The endless small movements that define a place where land and water are equally important. Equally present. Equally demanding. Leaving Kristiansund, we take a ferry. The coast here is too fractured for bridges. Too complex for roads. So ferries connect the gaps. Carrying cars and trucks and people from island to island. From port to port. Moving slowly. Patiently. Working with the tide. The ferry ride takes an hour. We stand on deck despite the cold, despite the wind, because being inside feels wrong. Feels like missing something. The sea is all around us. Dark, deep, moving in ways we can't fully perceive. Currents beneath the surface. Pressures and temperatures and chemical balances that make life possible. Seabirds follow the ferry. Girls mostly. They know the boats sometimes throw scraps. They know where to look for easy food. But even when nothing comes, they follow. Riding the wind. Gliding on invisible currents of air. They make it look effortless. Natural. As if they belong to the sky the way fish belong to the sea. The ferry docks at another island. We drive off. Follow another road. The pattern repeats. Islands. Bridges. Ferries. Tunnels. The coast here doesn't allow straight lines. Doesn't allow speed. You move at the pace the land and sea dictate. No faster. We stop at a lighthouse. Standing alone on a rocky point. White tower. Red roof. Classic Norwegian design. It's automated now. No keeper lives here. But the light still turns. Still warns ships. Still serves its purpose even without human presence. We climb the rocks to reach it. The stone is smooth. Polished by wind and rain and spray. Ancient volcanic rock. Harder than granite. It's survived everything the ocean could throw at it. For millions of years. And will survive millions more. At the base of the lighthouse, we sit. Sheltered slightly from the wind. The ocean stretches before us. Endless. Grey-green. White foam where waves break on distant rocks. It's mesmerizing. Hypnotic. The kind of sight that makes thought difficult. That dissolves the boundary between watching and being. How long do we sit there? Minutes? Hours? Time loses meaning when you watch the sea. Each wave is different. Each wave is the same. The pattern is eternal. Unchanged since water first covered this planet. And will continue unchanged until the sun expands and boils the oceans away. Eventually, cold drives us back to the car. But we're reluctant. Something about the lighthouse. About this raw edge of land. About the meeting place of stone and water. It feels important. Sacred, even. Not in a religious way. But in the way that profound places always feel. Places where the world shows itself honestly. Without decoration. Without pretense. We continue south now. Following the coast. But beginning to arc inland. Toward the forests. Toward the next phase of the journey. The coastal islands fade behind us. Replaced by mountains. By trees. By the transition from salt to fresh water. From sea to land. But the memory stays. The Atlantic Road. The bridges leaping over water. The fishing villages clinging to rocks. The lighthouse standing alone. The endless, patient work of waves against stone. The coast has taught us something. About persistence. About adaptation. About the negotiation between what endures and what yields. The deep forests and inland lakes. Inland from the coast, Norway changes. The salt air fades. The wind loses its edge. The light softens. Mountains give way to gentler hills. And between them, forests. Deep forests. Old forests. The kind that feel like they've always been here and always will be. We're driving through Østlandet now. The eastern region. Where most Norwegians actually live. Away from the dramatic fjords and famous peaks. In the valleys and forests where life is quieter. more ordinary, more hidden. The road winds through pine and spruce, tall trees crowding close to the pavement, their branches creating a canopy that turns midday into twilight. The forest floor is carpeted with moss, thick, green, glowing faintly in the filtered light. This is the Norway that doesn't make it into tourist brochures. Not dramatic enough, not spectacular enough. Just trees and more trees, hills and valleys, small towns with names you'll never remember. But there's beauty here, subtle beauty, the kind that reveals itself slowly. We stop at a trailhead, a small parking area carved from the forest. A wooden sign in Norwegian and English. Finskogen, the Finn forest. Historic home to Finnish settlers. Please respect the forest. We take the trail. It's well maintained but quiet. No other cars in the lot. No voices on the path. Just us and the trees and the soft sound of wind through needles. The forest smells different than the coast. No salt. No sea. Just earth and pine resin and the slight sweetness of decay. Mushrooms grow in the shadows. Fallen logs slowly returning to soil. The constant cycle of growth and death and renewal. The trail follows a stream. Water moving slowly over smooth rocks. Clear enough to see the bottom. Cold enough that you know it comes from snow melt. From high places where winter never fully releases its grip. Fish dart in the shadows. Small. Quick. Trout, probably. Living their entire lives in this one stream. Born here. Feeding here. Dying here. Never knowing the ocean exists. Never needing to know. The forest opens slightly. A clearing where an old cabin stands. Weathered grey. Abandoned, maybe. Or just used infrequently. A hunting cabin. A summer retreat. It's hard to tell. The door is closed. The windows dark. It sits in silence, waiting for whoever comes next. We continue deeper. The trail climbs now. Not steep, but steady, working its way up a hill that rises from the valley floor. Our breathing deepens. Not from exertion. From the clean air. From air that's passed through billions of pine needles. Filtered. Purified. Rich with oxygen and the chemical signatures of growing things. At the top, the forest opens again. A lake. Fin zone. The Finn Lake. It spreads before us like polished metal. Perfectly still. Perfectly silent. Reflecting the sky and trees with mirror clarity. The lake is small. Maybe a kilometer across. Surrounded completely by forest. No houses. No boats. No sign of human presence except the trail we walk to get here. This is how most of Norway's interior looks. Lakes and forests. Forests and lakes. Repeated thousands of times across the landscape. We sit on a rock at the water's edge. The stone is warm from the sun. Comfortable. We could stay here for hours. Maybe we will. There's no schedule. No next thing. Just this place. This moment. This perfect stillness. A bird calls. Something small. Hidden in the trees. Its song echoes across the water. Bounces back. The lake acts like an amphitheater. Amplifying sound. Making every small noise seem significant. Intentional. Ripples appear on the water. Not from wind. From fish. Rising to take insects from the surface. Tiny disturbances that spread in perfect circles, intersecting, creating patterns that last a few seconds then disappear, but always replaced by new ones. The lake's surface is always changing, always still. We notice we're whispering, even though no one else is here, even though there's no reason for quiet. But the forest demands it, expects it. Speaking loudly here would feel like a violation, like breaking something sacred. Finskagen has history. Finnish settlers came here in the 1600s, fleeing famine and war. They found these forests empty, claimed them, cleared small farms from the trees, built cabins, raised children, created a culture that persisted for generations. Their descendants are mostly gone now, moved to cities, seeking easier lives, but traces remain. Old farm sites swallowed by returning forest, stone fences half buried in moss, names on maps, and the cabins, always the cabins, some maintained, most not, but standing, lasting, testament to people who made lives in difficult places. We leave the lake reluctantly, following the trail back down. The descent is faster, easier, but we move slowly anyway, taking time, noticing things we missed on the way up. A perfect spider web between two trees, a patch of cloudberries glowing orange in a clearing, the way light filters through needles at different angles. Back at the car, we continue inland, deeper into Östland, through more forest, past more lakes, through small towns that look like they haven't changed in 50 years. Maybe they haven't. Maybe they don't need to. We stop in Elverum, a town on the Glomma River, Norway's longest river. It flows south from the mountains, through forests, through farmland, eventually reaching the sea near Oslo. But here, it's still wild, fast, full of character. A bridge crosses the river. Old stone arches, built in the 1800s. We walk across it, lean on the rail, watch the water surge beneath us. Even in summer, the river runs high, fed by snow melt from distant mountains, carrying that cold water south, carrying minerals and nutrients, carrying the mountains themselves, grain by grain, toward the sea. Salmon run in this river, or used to. Development and dams reduced their numbers, but efforts to restore them continue. Some still make the journey, swimming upstream, fighting current, driven by instinct older than memory, returning to spawn in the same gravel beds where they were born. We continue south and east, into the deepest forests. Hedmark, a region of low mountains and endless trees, one of the least populated areas in southern Norway, one of the wildest. The road narrows, becomes gravel. We're on a forestry track now, used by loggers and hunters, maintained just enough for vehicles, but barely. Trees press close on both sides. Branches scrape the car. We're not on a trail anymore. We're in the forest, surrounded, absorbed. We stop where the road ends, or doesn't end, just becomes too rough to continue. We step out into silence so profound it feels physical, like something pressing against our ears, our chest, our thoughts. This is real wilderness, the kind that's rare in Europe. Most of the continent has been shaped by humans for millennia. But here, in these forests, nature still dominates, still sets the rules, still exists largely for itself. We walk into the trees. No trail now. Just space between trunks. The ground is soft. Moss and needle litter. Our footsteps make no sound. We move like ghosts. Like we're not really here. Elk live in these forests. Lynx. Wolves, though rarely seen. Bears, in the more remote areas. All the animals that once lived across Europe. Pushed into shrinking spaces. But here, they endure. Here, they're still home. We don't see any large animals. Not surprising. They're expert at not being seen. But we see signs. A track in soft earth. Scat on a log. Bark scraped from a tree. They're here. All around us. Watching, probably. Deciding we're not worth worrying about. The forest has layers. The canopy far above. The understory of smaller trees and shrubs. The ground layer of moss and ferns and fallen logs. And beneath that, the soil. Full of roots and fungi and the slow work of decomposition. Everything connected. Everything feeding everything else. We find a boulder. Glacial erratic. Dropped here 10,000 years ago when the ice retreated. We sit on it. Rest. Listen. The forest is never truly silent. Always small sounds. Branches creaking. Needles falling. Water moving somewhere distant. Birds calling. Insects humming. But it's quiet. Profoundly quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you aware of your own heartbeat. Your own breathing. How long do we sit? We don't know. We've stopped checking time. Stopped caring. The forest doesn't run on human schedules. Doesn't care about appointments or deadlines. It operates on seasonal time. On generational time. On the time scale of trees that live 200 years. Of rocks that last millions. Eventually, we return to the car. Drive back to the main road. Return to civilization. But changed. The forest does that. Strips away the unnecessary. Reminds you what actually matters. Silence. Stillness. Connection to something larger than yourself. We drive south as evening approaches. Real evening. The sun setting. Darkness coming. Back to the rhythms we understand. The cycles that make sense. But carrying the forest with us. In memory. In feeling. In the quiet center we found there and can return to any time. Just by closing our eyes. Just by remembering. The deep rest. The journey has been long. So long. Through fjords that mirror infinity. Through nights painted with aurora. Through islands where mountains meet the sea. Through places where the sun forgets to set. Through valleys where time moves in centuries. Through forests where silence teaches wisdom. Now it's time to rest. To let all of it settle. To allow the journey to complete itself in the only way journeys can. By ending. By releasing. By becoming memory instead of experience. We return to water. Always water. It's where we began. It's where we return. A fjord. Quiet. Still. Held between mountains that have watched over it for millions of years. Will watch for millions more. Imagine yourself there now. Standing at the water's edge. The stones smooth under your feet. Worn by waves. Polished by time. Cool to the touch but not cold. Just present. Just solid. Just reliable. The water barely moves. Just the gentlest lapping. The softest breath against the shore. A rhythm so slow you can barely perceive it. But it's there. Patient. Eternal. The tide breathing. The fjord breathing. The earth breathing. You sit on the stones. They accept your weight easily. They've held mountains, held glaciers, held the weight of time itself. You are nothing to them, but also everything. Another moment, another presence, another brief witness to their long existence. The mountains rise around you. Not dramatically, just steadily. They don't need to shout, don't need to impress. They simply are, have been, will be. Their presence is comfort, is certainty, is the promise that some things endure beyond understanding. Above you, the sky. Maybe blue, maybe grey, maybe holding the first stars of evening, maybe glowing with colors that have no names. It doesn't matter. Each version is perfect. Each version is exactly what this moment needs. You breathe with the water. In and out. In and out. Your rhythm matching the fjord's rhythm. The ancient pattern. The primal pulse. Before thought. Before language. Before everything except existence itself. Close your eyes now. Let the world disappear. Not gone. Just held gently outside your awareness. Still there. Still present. But not demanding attention. Allowing you to turn inward. To find the quiet that exists inside. That's always existed. That will always exist. Your body grows heavy. Pleasantly heavy. Sinking into support. Into the earth. Into the memory of the fjord. You're held completely. By the stones. By the mountains. By the eternal patience of deep water. Nothing can harm you. Nothing can reach you. You're protected. You're safe. You're home. Images drift through your mind. The seven sisters falling forever. The ferry moving through mist. The aurora dancing its cosmic dance. The midnight sun circling the horizon. The fishing village reflected perfectly in still water. The old farm in the green valley. The reindeer grazing the plateau. The Atlantic road leaping over waves. The deep forest holding its secrets. The lake reflecting silence. They come like breath. Like waves. Like the turning of stars. And like all these things, they pass. You don't hold them. Don't grasp. Don't try to keep them. You just let them move through. Appearing. Disappearing. Leaving no trace except the gentle feeling of having been. Of having seen. Of having experienced. Let them go now. All of it. The whole journey. Beautiful as it was. Meaningful as it was. Let it fade into memory. Into dream. Into the place where all experiences eventually go. Not lost. Just transformed. Just changed. Just released. Your breathing slows further. Deeper than before. Each breath taking more time. Each pause between breaths stretching. In. Hold. Out. Hold. Like the tides. Like the seasons. Like the slow movement of glaciers that shaped these mountains. Your body knows this rhythm. Has always known it. Is returning to it now. The water holds you still. You're floating. Not on the fjord. But in the memory of the fjord. In the idea of the fjord. Supported completely. By nothing. By everything. Just resting in space. In peace. In the soft darkness behind your closed eyes. Let go of your thoughts now. They're not needed here. This is the place beyond thinking. Beyond analyzing. Beyond understanding. This is the place of pure rest. Pure being. Pure existence without effort. If thoughts come anyway, that's all right. Watch them like clouds, like the aurora, like waves on the shore. They appear, they move, they disappear. You don't follow them, don't engage them, don't believe them. You just notice, just witness, just let them pass through like wind through trees. Your body is so relaxed now. Every muscle soft, every joint loose, your jaw unclenched, your hands open, your breath barely moving. You've never been this relaxed, this surrendered, this at peace. And it feels perfect, feels right, feels like finally coming home after a long journey. The mountains stand watch in the darkness. You can't see them, but you feel them. Solid, eternal, unchanging. They ask nothing. They simply are. And their presence says you can rest now. You can stop trying. You can let everything go. They'll hold the world while you sleep. The fjord continues its ancient breathing. In and out. Forever. You've stopped listening, but it's still there. Supporting you. Holding you. Keeping rhythm with the heartbeat of the planet. With the pulse of existence. With the slow movement of everything toward peace. Sleep comes like darkness. Natural. Inevitable. Not forced. Not fought. Just arriving. Just happening. Just covering everything like night covers the land. Gentle. Complete. Absolute. You're falling now. Not in fear. But in trust. Falling into sleep like falling into water. Except this water holds you. Supports you. Lets you sink without drowning. Down into darkness that isn't dark at all. Just deep. Just quiet. Just perfectly, completely safe. The world fades. All of it. Norway. The journey. The fjords and mountains. The lights and darkness. Everything dissolving. Not into nothing. But into peace. Into rest. Into the place where you don't need to be anything. Where you can just stop. Just exist. Just sleep. Your awareness grows dim. Like a light burns slowly down. Not off. Just quieter. Softer. More distant. Until you're barely aware at all. Until awareness itself becomes something else. Something that isn't quite awareness. Something that isn't quite anything. Just the soft edge between being and not being. Between awake and asleep. Between here and somewhere else entirely. And in that soft place, you rest. Deeper than you've rested in years. In months. Maybe ever. This is the rest beneath rest. The sleep beneath sleep. The peace that has no opposite because it includes everything. Even the things that aren't peaceful become peaceful here. Even the things that can't rest find rest. The mountains still stand. The fjord still breathes. The stars still turn. All without you. All without needing you to watch. To witness. To be aware. They exist for themselves. And you exist for yourself. And everything is exactly as it should be. Sleep now. Complete sleep. Full sleep. The kind that heals. The kind that restores. The kind that reaches into your bones and says everything is all right. Everything has always been all right. Everything will always be all right. Just sleep. And sleeping, you dream. Or you don't dream. It doesn't matter. Sleep is sleep. Deep and dark and perfect. And you sink into it like sinking into deep water. Held. Safe. Protected. Surrounded by peace. By silence. By the gentle darkness that asks nothing and gives everything. The journey is complete. The world is quiet. You are home. Not home in a place, but home in yourself. Home in peace. Home in rest. Home in the darkness that isn't dark. Home in the silence that isn't empty. Home in sleep that isn't sleep but something deeper. Something older. Something that has no name because it needs no name. Just rest. Just peace. Just sleep. Forever and always. In this perfect moment that stretches into eternity. In this darkness that is also light. In this absence that is also presence. In this sleep that is also awakening. To rest. To peace. To the deepest home there is. Sleep now. The journey is complete. You are home.